Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Peak Performers, episode number 6. Am I committed or am I just interested? Step 4 of the ultimate success map, commitment. Step 1 was all about finding out what you want. Step 2, coming up with an efficient and effective plan, and then deciding. Well, isn't deciding just enough? Several years ago, I was planning a trip down to the beach, and 10 of us decided that we were going down on, it was about 2 weeks from then. So it was in the middle of June. We were heading down to the beach, and everyone decided that they were going to do it. So if 10 people decided that they were going, how many went? No. 6. 10 decided, but only 6 committed. And that's the difference. That's where the rubber meets the road. It's in the commitment. Commitment is no turning back. You've decided, you've committed, and there's no going back. About 4 years ago, I was having an anxiety about flying. I didn't like that feeling of kind of dropping in the air. And it was a fear that I wanted to just get rid of. And I said, what would be the best way to get rid of this fear of flying and kind of dropping through the air? And I fly a lot on business. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go skydiving. That's going to definitely get outside my box, and that will definitely break through this fear. So I decided I was going to go skydiving. I booked the reservations in Las Vegas. And then the morning of the event, or the skydiving, showed up at the skydiving place, got on the plane. Of course, I put the parachute on before, and got up in the plane and went. Now, at this point, I still was not committed. I decided that I was interested in skydiving, but I had not committed to it yet. And then the instructor and I fell or jumped out of the plane. On the way down to the ground, that was the only part in the process where I was committed. There was no going back. It was either pull the parachute and land safely or land as a big splat. No other option. Once I jumped out of that plane or fell out, you don't really fall or you don't jump the first time, you just kind of fall out. That was it. I was flying through the air and there was only one way to get out of this. I was fully committed. A buddy of mine owns a farm up in Vermont. And he's got 2 little boys, cute little boys, Max and Sammy. And Max and Sammy said to their dad, hey, Dad, tomorrow we want something special for breakfast. So Dad said, hey, I can make that happen. And he walked out into the back of their, they've got 100 acres up in Vermont. And he walks into the barn. And he needed to talk to his animals to get some buy-in for tomorrow's breakfast. Well, the next day, sitting there on the table was this beautiful plate of eggs, fresh eggs laid by the chicken. And right next to those eggs was strips of bacon. That chicken, he was interested. He was involved in the process. That pig, he was committed. So where in your life have you made a decision, but you haven't really committed yet? You're not all in. You haven't burned the boats on the beach. There's still a way to retreat. My dad, years ago, became sick with asbestosis, and he had worked for the federal government. He was an electrical linesman, and he worked when electrical storms and lightning had struck the poles and hit these transformer boxes. He had to go up there and pull them down and replace them. Well, inside these transformer boxes was asbestos, which causes asbestosis. So he contracted that disease, eventually passed from that disease. But while he was alive, the federal government, his employer, was responsible for his workers' compensation. He was injured on the job. So I set out to sit with the federal government and have them accept responsibility for this accident or this occurrence or this disease. And as you can imagine, getting the federal government to admit that they were the cause of this was not a very easy process. So I had a copy this is before email and all kinds of data, probably 6 or 8 inches of paperwork, doctor's reports, and you name it. And literally it was about 6 inches high. And I had to deliver that in Manhattan to the Office of Employee Services for the federal government. I bring one stack, follow up, no response. Then about 2 months later, they would call and go, "We can't find the file. Sorry." I said, "No problem. I'll make another copy." I made another copy. Went up Midtown Manhattan, delivered another copy. Waited a few months. Once again, "Yeah, we're working on it. We're getting close." "Oh, we can't find the file." I said, "Okay, I know how this game's going to be played. You're just going to keep telling me that you keep losing the file. Guess what? I'm committed to this process, and I'm not going anywhere. And you can lose this file 100 times, and I'm going to bring you a new one every single time. So we're either going to sit down and we're going to do this and we're going to figure this out and you're going to take responsibility, or we're just going to keep playing this game." I had already decided ahead of time what the outcome was going to be, and I was committed to it. And then finally, one day, I get a letter. "We're sorry for your loss. We are accepting responsibility." And from that moment on, my mother was able to get workers' compensation benefits that far outweighed the benefits that she would have gotten had the government not taken responsibility for their actions. I have young men and young women come to me applying for jobs, and I ask them, what are they willing to do, organization, and what aren't they willing to do? And the story is always the same. "I'll do anything. It doesn't matter. I'm doing anything. I just want to get my foot in the door." Great. For the first month, I need you to clean all the bathrooms. Whoa, wait a second. I'm not hiring, I don't want a job as a janitor. That's below me. I'm a salesperson. I know what I'm doing. I'm a customer service person. I'm a driver. What do you mean clean the bathrooms? Oh, so you're not willing to do whatever it takes. You're willing to do whatever's convenient. You're willing to do whatever's comfortable. When you get to that point, and I'm sure each and every one of you have been there, when you commit to something wholeheartedly, nothing will get in your way. Just a question of how long it'll take. But if you stick with it, it'll happen. Now, I will tell you this. I'm a person that does not commit easily. I don't take that very lightly. I do not commit to a lot of things. But the ones I do commit to, I see them through. And a lot of people overcommit themselves. "Oh, I can do this. I can be there by 4. I can do this by 5. I can do this by 6. And they don't do it. They don't have that inner stance, that inner strength that says, when I give you my commitment, that is my word, and I stand behind my word. A handshake that says, "I will do it," means more than any legal contract. You want to get into a position that when you give your word that it will be done, it will be done. Period. We are almost there. Only 3 more steps left. Thank you for listening today. If you're not already subscribed, please go to iTunes. Please subscribe. Please leave a 5-star rating for us. If this episode was of help to you, or you believe that it could help anyone else, please forward this to your friends, family, coworkers. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter. Our website is thorconklin.com. You can also send us an email at info@thorconklin. I love your questions. Please send those in. On Sundays, we'll have a question and answer podcast. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. Until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day. Thank you.